Hey guys, how are y'all doing? It's me. So, I've discovered something after doing a couple of these over the last couple of weeks, and is that I don't like doing them. At least not the way I've been doing them, which is just kind of off on the fly. Hey Katie, what's going on? Yeah, they make me, I feel very scatterbrained when I'm trying to do it off the cuff. And I had all intentions of gathering information and having a structure of some sort, but these last 2 weeks have been horrendous. I feel very defeated for a couple of reasons. One of them is that I hardly ever get sick. And last Friday, I ended up getting a sinus infection, which lasted the whole last weekend. And then this morning I woke up at 2 o'clock vomiting. So I'm like, I don't know what the hell's going on, but I've been getting sick a lot this last week. And so I feel real defeated in that front. And then also I feel defeated because I've been trying very hard to learn OBS, which is a system that lets you do really, much better streams, like adding video clips and whatnot and pictures. And I just can't get it. I don't know whether that's my 50-something-year-old brain working up here or not working, for that matter. I don't know what's going on, but I'm just not grasping it. And so I've still got to watch a lot of tutorials and whatnot. But what I've decided to do is, I think that it's foolish of me to try to build a channel, especially the kind that I'm wanting to build, which is basically like a roundtable platform with a bunch of progressives sitting on a panel and talking about issues, and also taking calls in from people who hopefully have differing views, and we can actually sit and have civil conversation and debate. That's what I would love to do eventually, but I'm thinking that it's foolish of me to try to do that now, because considering I'm going to be moving to Alabama in 4 months. And so my time is really consumed of, planning that out, packing up, giving stuff away, figuring out what I'm going to move and all that. So I think I'm just going to put starting the new live stream channel on the back burner for a few months and wait until I get settled in Alabama before I try to do that. Until that time, though, I definitely want to start doing specific videos and actually have, more of a structured, a more collected collection of my thoughts. Because here I'm just like blah, 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 and I'll be talking about a really important subject, and as soon as I look down at chat and see a chat, it throws me off, and I'm on a completely different subject. So I think that would be a little annoying for my viewers. I could sit here and ramble all day and interact with you, whoever's in chat, all day, but I don't think that would be very I don't think that would be very interesting for people, especially in trying to build the channel. So I'm not interested at all in monetary gain from this channel. I strictly, my name is Share Information for a reason. I want to share information for things that are important to me and the country and the people living in it. So thanks, Zach. I appreciate any help that y'all want to give. And if anybody's ever interested in being part of the progressive panel, that would be great, because I think that would attract a lot of people, and I think we could actually have meaningful discussions and actually maybe change some minds or educate the apolitical, which I think is important. So I made a little quick list of the things that I was wanting to talk about. I definitely need to get better at editing videos. I used to use Windows Movie Player or Movie Maker, and they quit making it. So that was what I was really good at using, but I can't find that program anywhere else. So I'm having to start all over with a whole new program, and they're so damn technical. I can't make them out. So it's really going to take a lot on my part just to learn how to even use these programs to be able to make quality content. Let's see. Let me just read my notes to myself here. If any of you guys know of any editing software and know how to use them, I would love to give a couple of videos for you to kind of hack up a little bit. I don't know whether y'all saw that video of, hey JT and everyone else in here. I appreciate y'all showing up. Thanks a lot. If y'all and see, I just did it. I was going somewhere and then I saw your comment and wanted to say hi. Now I can't remember what I was going to go back to. I'll go back to it eventually. I was watching the Bernie rally this afternoon. It was pretty good. And, I'm amazed at the trolls that are coming out now saying, how come Bernie's not talking about Assange? I don't think Bernie gives a shit about Assange, to be honest. I mean, maybe the principle behind all of it he might care about, but I don't think he's going to waste any of his time, of his precious time, talking about Assange, when that's not what average Americans care about. They don't care about what Assange, they probably don't even know who Assange is, much less care about what Bernie has to say about him. They want to hear how is Bernie going to make it to where they can, keep groceries in the house, or pay for their kid with asthma, buy their inhaler. So I think that's just a stupid argument. And I think, any argument that can be made to try to smear Bernie, they're all about that. So they're also literally saying, there was one chick in there that was like, Bernie's a fraud. $15 isn't a living wage. that one made me laugh. I was like, okay, well, he's going to have a hard time getting that across, much less anything more than that. But yeah, I totally agree, Katie. He does need to avoid the circus. Actually, Fox News put out a relatively decent ad about him today. Something about 5 things you need to know about Bernie, and like the whole time, all the way up to the very end, it was very positive. And I was like checking I'm like, is this Fox? Is this really Fox that's putting this out? But it was, and at the very end, they were talking about how many elections he lost. And that was really the only downside of what they had to say about him, which was pretty interesting. One of the commenters on there was like, man, you didn't even, talk about the fact that he was socialist, and I'm disappointed in you, and yada, yada. And I wrote back and I'm like, so are you really saying that you're disappointed that somebody didn't lie to you about Bernie? It's crazy. If you hear a bunch of little little dinglings here on my computer coming up, it's all the people who respond to my messages in chat, because I tend to rattle the conservatives a bit. It's funny at the things they make me approve. They make me approve the word bitch, which is funny. All right, let me get back to my my little list here. And like I said, or I haven't said this yet, but I probably won't stream too long here tonight. 1, because I'm not really feeling all that great. 2, I don't really have a lot to talk about. I mean, again, if y'all have specific questions that you want my opinion on, maybe, but other than that, y'all already know my opinion. Y'all share them, so I don't think that would be of any benefit, really. Let's see. If any of y'all watched the video, the CBS interview of Bernie, it's 20 minutes long. I wanted to try to make a video of like me being the person that guy is asking questions to. Because I love Bernie, and I think that he has truly gotten a lot better on his messaging, but there's still some things that he has got to change. He's got to change. I mean, when someone asks him, isn't Medicare for all socialism? He needs to simply say, no, it is not socialism when the private sector still delivers the care. I mean, the socialist model is more indicative of the VA, which people overwhelmingly support. So either they don't know the definition of socialism, and I'd argue that majority of the people that throw that word out there as a pejorative don't know the term of it. They don't grasp the fact that, when the private sector still delivers the care in a Medicare for all model, that's not socialism. It's just not. So I wish that he would tell people that straight off the bat, so we can start working to squash that whole narrative, because that's obviously going to be the one that they're choosing to spew the most, is, it's socialism, can't afford it, can't do it. And then as far as the rest of the interview with him on that, he was just talking about, isn't it so expensive? But what if people have private insurances and they want to keep their insurance policy? Who in their right mind would want to keep the insurance policy and have to pay enormous amounts for care? I mean, even if you're not even sick, like I'm a healthy person, I don't need to, I pay like somewhere $200 a month on insurance, and then I have about I think a $2,000 deductible. So if I was to get sick and need something, I'd have to pay $2,000 out of my pocket first. I mean, and what the hell is that? I mean, insurance is turned into such a racket right now. It's ridiculous how much we pay each month, and then we can't even get them to pay out when they need to until we make the first 2, 5, 10. I've seen $10,000 deductibles on some patients' plans. It's ridiculous. So we have to get the insurance, private insurance out. There's just no other way around that. One thing that I think, one thing that there is an argument to be made, and it's a valid argument, is if we end up, doing away with the need for private insurance, that is going to put quite a lot of people on the unemployment line. And so I don't know really how that's going to impact unemployment, or, where are those people, going to be able to get jobs at? Maybe, hopefully, it's in the healthcare industry. I'm hoping that if a Medicare for All system is put in place, that we're going to need to start creating a lot more public clinics and hospitals, especially in rural areas where there are none right now. And so I think the actual Medicare for All and a universal healthcare system would be a job boon in this country, because it would make, we'd have to have those facilities in order to take care of all the patients that are now going to seek care that otherwise wouldn't be able to. So it is something that we need to be thinking about. I love telling people, like, High Carber and all these other libertarian trolls that permeate throughout the progressive sphere online. Why is it that the free market, the people that love a free market, how come that they never want to compete with public entities? They never want to compete with the public sector. So why is that? Because they know they'd lose. So if we were to start instituting publicly run hospitals, clinics, and such, like we do the VA, then I believe that is probably one of the only ways, short of a direct mandate telling the private sector to lower their costs on healthcare. I think it's the only way that's going to make the private sector lower their costs, because they're going to have to compete with the public sector. So I hope that that's where we go into. If we end up passing the law, I hope that we go into starting to send people to college to be doctors and nurses. And yeah, they send them to college. They may not be able to make the same amount of money in the private sector as they'd make in the they wouldn't be able to make as much in the public sector as they would in the private sector, but work there for a few years and your college is paid for. So I think that would be a win-win for a lot of people that may not otherwise have good paying careers. The healthcare industry is not a career that I believe is going to be, taken over by AI anytime soon. So, it's definitely one that we need to look into that, because I think that there's a lot of potential opportunity for creating. You watch, there's these reality shows on Netflix and such about the UK, like, they follow a bunch of paramedics that go around and render aid to people in the UK. And there's literally like whole families that are in the healthcare industry. They all work in the healthcare industry, and I think it's great. So anyway, hey, Sharky's girl, thanks for joining. Appreciate y'all being here. I'm just rambling on. I was just kind of giving everybody a rundown about healthcare, and if I sat and read all of the, forgive me if anybody is addressing me in the comments and I don't see it. Hey Jim, on UBI with Yang, I think UBI is a great idea, and I certainly don't think we need to wait until 40% or 50% or more of our jobs are automated before we talk about a UBI. What I'm really concerned about UBI is that it's kind of like being used as a ruse to abolish social safety nets like welfare and food stamps. I'm concerned that if those things can be taken away and UBI put in, UBI can get taken away too. And then what the hell are people supposed to do? So I would only be for a UBI if all the safety nets are kept intact. Otherwise, I'm a little suspicious about it. And I'm real suspicious of anybody, whether it's Yang or Buttigieg or any of these other never heard of before people coming out of the woodwork to run. I'm not sure that I'm trustful of many of them. I think that we should be a little suspicious as to what their motive is in running. let's see. Yeah, I just was going back and forth with a few people about healthcare a minute ago on another chat, and it's just I'm convinced that the majority of people who are against it either work in the industry and make money off the status quo, or they just don't know. They just are uninformed or misinformed about it. They just don't know what it means, and they don't get it. And that's another thing I wish Bernie would start doing. When he talks about Medicare for all, he needs to talk about reforming health insurance, not health care, because words mean everything. And and Democrats have always sucked at messaging. I think that if they had talked about the ACA, Obamacare, as health insurance reform, I think there would have been a lot less people pushing back against it. Because I think everybody realizes that our health insurance is jacked. It's beyond ridiculous at what it's turned into, and I think that people just need to be informed correctly on it. And yeah, so anyway, so with this, I will, again, I could sit here all night and just talk, read y'all's comments and comment and just chatter on and on and on, but I don't think I will, just because I'm not really feeling up to it. I'm hoping that next week and the week after I don't keep looking over here because people's running by out in my courtyard and it catches my eye. Grab a beer. Well, I got some iced tea. I'm not a big drinker, but yeah. Anyway, I don't really have much else to say. Does anybody else have any? Thanks, Jan. I appreciate it. Does anybody else have any issues or ideas or comments or anything? Otherwise, I was going to kick back and watch some telly. Let's see Trump's taxes, if only. I kind of really wish Bernie would have held back on his. I just think it's very unfair that he's being pressed to release his taxes and Trump's not being pressed very hard to get his taxes out there. And he said it once before. I mean, I think he says it occasionally when he's directly asked about it. But I mean, if I were him, I'd be like, yeah, I'm not releasing my taxes until Trump does. and people can they can try to figure out what he means by that, or wonder if he has anything he needs to hide or anything in them, all they want. But really, it comes down to principle. If Bernie's being pressed to release his taxes, I think he should stick to his guns and say he's not going to do it until Trump releases his. Press freedom. I'm going to have to learn a little bit more about Assange, and I'll end on this little talk about, because I really don't think I know enough about what makes people so divided on the issue. It seems to me that WikiLeaks used to be very reputable back in the day, and I think that Assange had some good intentions of what he was doing back in the day. However, it seems like after 2016 he turned into a bit of a propagandist or saboteur. And again, maybe this is my ignorance speaking on the matter. I don't know. If any of y'all want to correct me, feel free to do so. I just don't know that I trust him much these days. And I certainly don't trust anything that comes out of Trump's mouth on it, because I mean, one minute he loved him and then now he's kind of pulling away from him. And so, I don't really think I know enough about the situation to really make my mind up on the issue. I mean, it sure has been all the rage and all the talk this week, but really, if it doesn't affect policy and what is affecting average Americans and all that, I really don't pay much attention to it. I just don't. I try not to fill my head with a bunch of things that I can't control, because all that does is make me crazy. So I just don't do it. And so. Can progressives undo Hillary's damage to the DNC in 2020? That's a tough one. I don't know. I think progressives are very apprehensive as I am, and I'm sure most of y'all are. I'm very apprehensive as to what they're going to do in 2020 with Bernie. It's going to be difficult for them to, push him out if he's the front runner. They're not going to be able to do that so easily this time. And they did also, I don't know if y'all are aware of this, but they did push legislation, or they passed a little rule in the DNC that they're not going to allow superdelegates to basically make their pledge before the primary is even begun. Like last time Hillary had something like 500 delegates before the first vote was cast. I think they got rid of them. Yes. I don't think they got rid of them entirely, but they got rid of them having the first say in the matter. I think delegates only come into play if the state or the county or what have you is either at a tie, or I'm not sure of the exact rules. I do know that they're not going to be near as influential this time around. So that might also go for Bernie and making him the nominee. I hope, anyway. I really, really do hope that he is the nominee. I think he would crush Trump like a la cucaracha. Let's see. Anything else y'all want to talk about? I'll go back and read y'all's messages later on. So if there was anything that I missed, I can address it later. But I really appreciate y'all coming and hanging out with me. It's very sweet of y'all. If hopefully I can inspire some of y'all to make some videos, and we just really, really need to make the progressive voice as loud as possible over the next year and a half. We've got to drown out the dozens and dozens of Ben Shapiro's and Steven Crowder's and all these other ones that are coming up now. It's crazy how many there are. And so we got to have a much louder progressive voice. So hopefully between you and us and all of us, and we can go forth and spread that progressive message. But I guess I'll go ahead and stop for now. I really hope that all you guys have a really, really good weekend. And I will try to put out a video here soon. I wanted to do the video of that. If you haven't seen the video, the interview of CBS with Bernie, go watch it. 20 minutes long. You need to watch the video. Bernie's really, really good in it. But it's the person that was doing the interviewing, he's a smarmy little shit. And after that interview, I now believe that CBS stands for complete bullshit. So I was hoping that they were going to be a little less biased and a little less corporate-y, but no, they weren't. They weren't at all. So anyway, y'all have a good one. Peace out. Love to everybody, and go spend time with those you love this weekend. All right. Bye-bye. Oh hell, where's my little button to? This is how little I'm with it tonight. I can't even find the button to turn this off. It used to be right here. Bye, guys. Hey, Kyle. Bye, Kyle. Sorry I missed you. Oh, there's my end stream. All right, now I'm out of here for reals. Bye.